Welcome back to the Nemesis. So, this is our third attempt to survive the Nemesis. We didn't really do a very good job of surviving the first two, so we're trying different characters this time. We've got the Scout. So, hopefully, the Scout can do something different. I'm assuming more quiet sort of travel between rooms. And we're playing the Captain because the Captain seems to be a well rounded character. Let's look at the Captain board again. So those are the two characters we're playing, and that's the Captain's mini. Looks fantastic. And that's the Scout. Yeah. And let's start. So I think first player token is with the Captain. I'm going to start by picking 5 cards for the Captain. And let's see what we can do. So I think the first thing the Captain wants to do, he's going to spend 1 card, the demolition card. And what he's going to do is he's going to pick up a heavy object. We don't know what our objectives are yet, but he's going to pick up a heavy object and place it on in one of his hands. So I think that's the Captain's first action. And that's great. So I think that'll help us as we move along. Now what should the Captain do? He's got his second turn. I think what the Captain's going to do is he's not searching anything yet, so he's just going to discard his search card and move. And the Captain decides to move here, and that gives us our first card. Well, no surprise, it's the Nemesis. It's already on fire. Our first room, we are covered in slime. That's not great. So I think room's on fire, and the Captain's got a slime token on his card, which I will place. So the Captain's got slime. So that's the Captain's 2 turns done. And that gives us our Scout. So let's pick 5 cards for the Scout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we're going to keep it simple for the Scout. The Scout's going to go this way. I think let's start here, close by. Oh gosh, already a danger icon. And this is the engine control room. How many items in this? So you've got 3 items, but you've got the danger sign already. So let's set the counter to 3 items, and you've got the danger sign. So the danger sign is not very good. It basically means we place a noise marker in each corridor. So you came from here, you got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. That's not really very good. So that was the Scout's first action. She discarded an interruption card because she's not interrupting anything yet. And what she's going to do, excuse me, is she's going to search. She's going to search the room and see whether, well, it doesn't, it's a yellow room, so she can search the engine control room. She'll pick up 2 cards, 2 yellow cards, and keep 1. Let's see what she's got. She's got 1 used clothes. She can discard a slime marker. That's really good. Or she can dress a serious wound, which is not too bad. Discard a fire marker from the room you're in. use on one intruder in the room you are in, it retreats. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. So if she uses this, an intruder retreats, which is really good. So I'm going to keep this one. So she's got one item in her hand, which is the fire extinguisher. I'm going to discard the other one. So that's great. Let's move her here. She's not telepathic. And we dropped the item counter to 2. So that's her 2 actions done, but she's stuck in a room with a lot of noise. That's not very good. So the captain goes next. Captain is slimed. He's got to drop the slime, but I think first thing the captain wants to do is move. Did the captain do a noise roll? I don't remember the captain doing a noise roll, so let's do a noise roll. 3. So this corridor is noised. So I think what the captain's going to do is he's going to discard 1 card, interruption, and he's going to move again, and he's going to move southwards. Let's see what he's got. No noise mark. This is no noise mark roll. That's fantastic. Oh gosh, the captain is on a roll. The captain's got, he's straight into the nest. This is the lair of the intruder, and it's got 6 eggs. So if he spends 2 actions, he can take an egg. So the captain's reached here. I think he's going to take an egg. So he's going to spend his last 2 cards, and he's going to take an intruder egg. So he has the intruder egg in the nest, and let's get that happening. So he's got the 1 egg. I think so. To take the egg, he's got to spend a 2nd card. He doesn't have any cards at the moment. He does, however, have to perform a noise roll every time he picks up an egg. So there's noise in corridor 1. That's not good, because if he goes to the engine, excuse me, he's probably going to be in trouble. Well, that's where the captain's at. The captain's finished his 5. And let's go back to the pilot. So I think, let's see what the pilot's back at. So the pilot can still search this room once more, or decide to explore and get away from all these noise markers. I think that would be really good. Or she could check the status of the engines. Why don't we do that? She's still in the room, so she's going to discard 2 cards and check the status of the engines. So she can check the status of all 3 engines, and let's see what the engines look like. So engine 3 damaged, not good. Engine 2 working, so we've got a 2nd engine that's working, and engine 3 working. That is really good news. So we know the ship's engines are working. Engine 3 is not working. Good job, pilot, or scout, sorry. And she's got a 2nd action. She's going to do another search action and see if she can get something else. And she's going to end her turn in the same room. So in the search action, she picks up again 2 yellow cards, and she'll decide to keep 1. This is going well so far. So we've got 2 cards, and they're the same. So I'm going to discard one of them. Let's look at the other. It's a non-combat card. Discard the malfunction marker, repair an engine, or open close 1 door in any corridor connected to the room you are in. Okay, so I'm going to keep it because, if we get a malfunction marker, we can use this. So both her hands are full and her turn is over. And that means we we go back to the usual stuff and we do our housekeeping. So we move the time track. There's no intruder, so there's no intruder attack. There's no fire. No, there is fire, but we're not stuck in a room with fire. And then we resolve an event card. So we're going to firstly move our marker to 14. And then we are going to resolve an event card. So event card, each character with a larva, the character board dies. So we don't have any larva, fortunately. Each character draws 4 cards from their deck and scans all drawn contamination cards. We don't have any. If they have at least 1 infected card, put a larva on their character, discard drawn cards. So we are lucky we don't have contamination cards and we don't have larvas yet. So that's the event done. And off we go on round 2. So I think now that the engines are working, well, technically the first player token passes to the scout. So let's start with the scout and see what the scout can do. I think the scout's going to explore. She's got good value out of the engine control room. Check the engines are working. We don't know what her objectives are yet. And that's the secret. So I think what the scout therefore is going to do is going to move this way and going to check. As you can see, some aliens are lurking outside the board. So the scout is going to see if the coordinates are set to Earth. We don't know whether we need to go there. So she's gone there. No noise rolls, fantastic, that's what we like. It's the monitoring room. Check 1 room and exploration token. So this is good. We set it to 1, which is naturally set to 1. So, and the card we discarded was this one, Suppressive Fire. I think we're just discarding any card for now. And the scout's in the room. I like what the scout's doing. So I think she can discard. Ooh, this is a red room. So if she searches it, she gets ammo. But she's got both her hands full. She's got the wonderful fire extinguisher, so she's not going to do that. I think she's just going to explore. She's going to go to the next room, but before that, noise roll. 1. So that's corridor 1. She got lucky. She should have done a quiet move, I think. Anyway, she's done that. So she's going to move to this room here. It's got malfunction. What room are we in? Storage. Search for an item. So it's a red room. So we get you can see the sort of bullet signal there. That basically means we can get some ammunition, which is really good, or some weapons. So the item counter was 2. Let's set that to 2. And let's move her here. And let's perform a noise roll. 4. So she's got a noise token on 4, which is fine. And she ends her room there. So she could probably, in the next turn, discard a malfunction marker and search the room. But she's got both her hands full. Oh, she doesn't have her hands full because one of her tools is not a heavy hand item, so she's carrying it in her backpack. So she does have some space, I think. Let's take the action back to the captain. Our captain has been doing well. He's going to draw his 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what he's going to do, he's going to take one egg. So he's gonna discard one card, and he's basically going to take this egg and put it on his board. Essentially, he can go to the laboratory at a later date and see what he wants to do with the egg. So that's what the captain's first. I think we don't know what our objective is yet. So I think he's not going to take more eggs, but we may come back to this. I think he's going to move. There's no point moving to the engines. He's already slimed. So I think he's going to move here. And there's a door. We met our first door. And this is an evacuation section. What this does, it helps us get to those escape pods there. So if we were trying to escape the ship, we can use this room to get into the escape pod. So what's our item counter? It's 2. So there's 2 items in this room. And there's our first door. So we came from here. So there's a door here. So it's harder for the captain to go back now to the nest if he wants to. Noise roll. 3. So there's some noise here. So the captain's finished his 2 actions. And back we go to the pilot. So let's see what the pilot's doing now. So the pilot's still got a few cards. I think the pilot's going to do a search because she's going to do one search and discard her search card. And she is in a red room, so hopefully she gets something really punchy to deal with these aliens or intruders. This is what she's got. She's got a 1 fully load ammo in 1 energy weapon or open close 1 door. I think she's got 1 open close 1 door card in tools, so she's not going to use that. Grenade. Choose 1 room with an intruder, the one you are in or in a neighboring room. The chosen intruder suffers 2 injuries. All other characters and intruders in the targeted room, including you, suffer 1 injury. So I think if there's an intruder in a different room, she can go all out and attack it. So I'm going to keep the grenade. Again, the grenade, you can see, is not a heavy item. A heavy item has a heavy item signals or symbol here. So this goes into our backpack. So again, we still have space. So that's great. She's done her first action there and she's got 1 item. I think, what's she going to do? I think she's going to search again. She's got another search card and she's going to search again. Why not? Let's do what she can. And she searches again. And so what has she got? So she's got energy charge and prototype rifle. Every time you roll 2, you can discard 1 additional ammo to deal 1 additional injury. So I'm going to keep the prototype rifle. And that's you can see the hand symbol here. So both her hands are full. Her backpack is pretty much getting full. And that's fantastic. So I think, but she's in really good shape, I think, the scout. So the scout's done her business and we go back to our captain, who's in evacuation section here. Does the captain have, he's got 1 card. And he can can't really do anything in that 1 card. So what he's going to do is he's going to move here. But if he moves here, the 2 corridors are already have noise, which is not the greatest. So if he had two cards, he could have done a careful move, but he can't move carefully. And I'm not sure I want him to. He's got this card, Order. So what he could do is he could move the character to a neighboring room of his choice. So actually, I could get another explore action out of. So I'm actually going to move the pilot. I'm going to discard his last card, and the captain's going to order the pilot to move here into the cockpit, which is great. And the pilot will have to do a noise roll, number 3, which is this corridor here. There's noise all over the board now. And that's the captain's 5 turns done. So the captain's finished his 5 turns. The pilot's there in the cockpit. And we'll have to see the coordinates and what that's been set to. I think that's the end of this round. So we're going to move the marker by 1 to 13. And I think the next thing we do is, in our rules, there's no intruder, so no intruder attack, no fire damage. We resolve an intruder attack event card. Noise in technical corridors. Place a noise marker in the technical corridor if there isn't one already out there. If there is, each character in a room with technical corridors entrance performs a noise roll. Okay, that's not very good. So I think no technical corridors here for the captain, and fortunately no technical corridors there for the scout. But I think what it does mean is there's a noise in the technical corridor there. Right, one thing we did not do is do the intruder back development in the first round, so we'll do it for 2 rounds together. So we're doing the intruder back development. I'm going to draw the first token, and I've got a larva. So you discard the larva and put an adult in the bag. So I'm going to put an adult in the bag. I'm going to shuffle the bag. Once again, I've drawn an adult token, and all players roll for noise and return the adult to the bag. Right, so I'm going to no roll for noise. That's not very good for the captain here because he's got a lot of noise. 3. Okay, that's bad news because that means a surprise attack occurs. So we discard the captain's noise. We take a intruder token from the bag. Fortunately, he's got a larva or a creeper. Well, it's not a larva, it's a creeper. So he's got a creeper right here. So this little creeper has crept up on him. So our poor captain's standing here with his weapon right facing up to a creeper. But because it's the end of the round, so we got stuck with a creeper here. We had to draw that out of the bag, and we resolved an intruder attack card because there was a surprise attack, but luckily it was not for a creeper, so we've not got any damage here. So we got lucky, so we've resolved the intruder back development, and we start our next phase. So captain's going to go first this time, and captain is going to attack the creeper. I think basically he's got a 6 shooter. He's going to discard 1 ammo, and he's going to attack this creeper. And I think that's a hit. So that's a good news. That's good news for the captain. So we've got one hit on the creeper here. We've got to resolve an intruder attack card. And that means this creeper retreats or runs away. I think it's asking us to move right, but there's a door here. So I think what happens is the door breaks with the creeper still in the room. So I'm going to have another go at the creeper. I'm going to spend another ammo. I'm going to roll attack again. So I've got another hit on the creeper. So I've got another bar here. We resolve another card, 4. Well, still not beating the creeper, which is not good. So that's the captain's 2 rounds done. So unfortunately our captain has not been able to kill the creeper and he's stuck here. We go back to the pilot or the scout, and what the scout's going to do is the scout's going to start with her 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she is, well, I made a mistake and it's a good mistake. Hold on. So the first time we see a creeper or an alien, we can choose one of our objective cards. So let's start with the captain. Place the blue character corpse object in the surgery room. Oh, this is nice. That's it. So he's got the character corpse. He's picked up a heavy object. I just need to find the surgery room. And the other one is your character is the only survivor. I think I'm going to go for the character corpse object. So I think discard the other objective card. And we're lucky we've got the character corpse. So we can see that. Scout, send the signal and all rooms on the ship must be explored. That looks difficult. Player 2's character cannot survive. Your character is the only survivor. So she's basically got to set the coordinates to Earth, make sure the engine's working, and the captain's got to die. I think that's more possible than checking all rooms and sending the signal. So I'm going to go for this one. Looks like one of the 2 characters may win. The other one unlikely. So we've got that. And then the next thing she's going to therefore do is she's going to check if the engines are working. So let's pick her 5 cards. And she's going to discard two cards, I think. So 2 cards do she's going to discard 2 cards and check the coordinates. So she's going to move the coordinates to Earth because we want the ship going to Earth, which is D. She's done that. That's her first turn done. And then what she's going to do, well, technically she doesn't need to do anything else. The engines are working and she needs to hibernate at some point and survive on the ship. That's all she needs to do. But what she's going to do is then pick up a lot of items. I think that's what I want her to do, because so I think she's going to come south and see what's here. And she's going to do it quietly. She doesn't want to attract noise, so she's going to discard 2 cards. That's her second turn. And where's she gone? There's a door. And there's 3 items here. 3 items. There's a door from where she came. And she ends her turn there. So I'm back to the captain with his two options. So the captain's had 2 turns already. He's also got slimed. He's got a larva on his board. He's going to still try and kill this creeper. He's going to have another go. So his third ammunition, he's going to spend. He's going to roll a combat die. He's got 1 hit. Where he gets 1 hit, he just gets 1 hit. So he's got 1 hit, and he's going to check an intruder attack card. 4, so still no luck. And he's going to go a second time, spending another ammo. So he's still got 2 ammo, but he's not in great shape. Oh, it's not a noise roll card. He's got a blank. That is not good. That is really not good. So he spent 2 more of his cards, and that's it. So he passes to the pilot. What's the pilot going to do? Pilot's got 1 card left. Search. So she's going to search the emergency room. But she's got both her hands full. So I don't know what she's going to be able to do after searching, but let's let her do the search. Because it's a medical item. So she's got something good. Draw 2 action cards from your deck. 1 use only. So if she drops this, and she gets to draw 2 axes, whereas this one, heal 1 dressed serious wound or dress a serious wound. So I think I'm going to keep this medical kit. It goes in a backpack. And that's the end of the pilot's 5 cards. That's the end of... The captain's got 1 card of basic repairs. He could move, but he may have to take a serious wound if he moves. And I think he needs 2 cards to move anyway. So that's the end of the captain's turn. And we do our usual. So we'll move the marker. And the next thing is we resolve an event card. Firstly, we resolve an intruder attack. Let's see what the captain's got. Again, he's safe because this is a mother. And therefore, he's missed out on an attack. Got lucky. But let's see what happens with the event card. Launch the escape pod token with the lowest number. Remove this event from the game and reshuffle the deck. Okay, so the event, 1 escape pod's got launched already. So I'm just going to launch 1 of them. Well, the lowest number is right up top, so let me do that. So this one has got launched from the ship and gone away. So fortunately, it doesn't mean much because I think the personal objectives for both are to reach Earth, not escape from the ship. So we got lucky there. And the last thing we do is the intruder bag development. So let's look at that again. So we've drawn an alien adult. So we do a noise roll and basically all players do a noise roll and we resolve it. So this one is 1. So the captain continues to be in terrible shape. So he's 1. And where is our pilot? So the pilot's there. Pilot's 4. Where is 4? I mean, how lucky does the pilot get? If she had drawn noise here, she would have been facing off with an intruder, but she hasn't. So we got lucky. This alien intruder goes back in the bag. And the last thing we do is we did everything. We did our intruder bag development. So we start the next round and start with our 5 cards for each character. Right. So we go back to the scout is player 1. This is the player 1 token. And I think let's remind ourselves of what we have to do. So So the scout, player 2's character cannot survive. Your character is the only survivor, right? So I think all this the scout needs to do is the ship is working, engines are working, the coordinates are set to Earth. All the character needs to do is get to the hibernatorium, and when the ship marker reaches blue, the character can hibernate as the ship is sort of reaching Earth, and that's it. That's all she needs to do. And let's remind ourselves what the pilot needs to do, the captain. The captain really needs to go to the surgery room and place the blue character corpse object in the surgery room. That's it. So unfortunately, our captain of the ship has to explore some rooms. So there's a great chance that the captain's not going to survive as he explores, and the scout might make it out of the Nemesis, right? So let's go. We're going to start with the scout. 5 cards for the scout, and the first thing, I think the scout's going to go very quietly because of the noise markers. Unless she has a card that can help her discard noise markers. No, I don't think she has. So she's going to discard 2 cards and move quietly. And she's going to discard another 2 cards and move quietly again. So no noise roll required. And that brings us to the captain. Captain's still in battle with the creeper. He's going to spend 1 more ammunition and he's going to attack. He's got another hit, and hopefully this time he's got it for, let's draw attack card 2. So that's it. That's done. So this chappie has gone, and we are going to put an intruder carcass. It's an egg token, but I use it as a carcass token. So we've defeated this intruder, which is fantastic. And what he's going to do is he's going to spend his other card to search. Ooh, did I draw 5 cards? Where are my 5 cards? So I think he spent 1 card here. He's going to spend his second card to search because he has no ammunition. He has 1 ammunition and he has nothing really. So I think he's going to try and look for weapons. He's going to draw 2 cards and look for 1. So he's got this card of the second one, decoy. Choose 1 neighboring room, take all intruders from neighboring rooms, even in combat, and move them to the room. Each intruder in combat performs 1 attack before leaving his room. I don't know. Doesn't look very good. But I want to keep it because the other one's about communications, which is even worse. So I'm going to keep this card. That's the captain's second round done. And we're back to the pilot. So the pilot can do a lot of stuff, but really the pilot's going to scout, is going to want to hibernate. So I don't see the merit in the scout going anywhere. What's the scout going to do? The objective's been met, which is her character has to survive. So she's got to wait for the captain to really get killed. Or meanwhile she can gather stuff. But she's got enough weapons. She's got a medikit. I think she's just going to pass. It's not the way it should be, but that's what she's going to do. So I think its focus is back on the captain. Um, so the captain is going to move quietly here. He's going to find the surgery, so he's going to move very quietly here. And he's found the laboratory, so he can analyze this. He's got slime twice. I don't think anything happens if he slimes twice. So he's reached the laboratory, 4 items in the laboratory. So I think, isn't that what his objective was? Well, no, he's got to go to the surgery. So I think not much use here. But what he's going to probably do is use one of his search cards. So he discards 1 card to search, and he's going to pick a medical item, I think, this time. So he's got 1 action where he can pull 2 additional cards, even though he's sort of using stuff. Or he can discard a slime marker. I think I'm going to keep this one. He's been slimed, and he's going to use it to discard the slime marker, so he doesn't have a slime marker. And that uses his last turn. So he's finished his turns. And the reason I took 3 turns for the captain is really because the scouts passed. So there's not much merit doing anything there. And that moves our marker back to 11. We don't have an intruder, so nothing happens there. We draw an event card. Open all doors except destroyed doors. So I think that's the event, not the worst event. You know, you could have fire, you could have many things. So this door opens. So things can pass through, and we move our counter to 10. And our journey on the Nemesis sort of continues. So I think we're on 10. And we start the next round. And the first player moves to the captain again. And the captain's going to... He's just got to reach the laboratory. So I think one of these 2 characters will win. This is the best I've done on the Nemesis. Never make it this far. Never survive. It's either the alien or the ship trying to get you. Let's see what we can do the next 15 minutes or so. So let's start with 5 cards for the scout. And then let's pull 5 cards for the captain, who begins his journey. So the captain, what's the captain going to do? Captain's really... he's got to move, but where can he move? So I think really the laboratory is going to be one of these. So he can't move. He's going to, I think, take a quiet move. So he's going to discard 2 cards. And then he's going to take another quiet move. Another 2 cards. And then he's going to make a less quiet move. All of this because our person here is passed. Right. Airlock control. It's on fire. Okay, that's not good. Fire means she can no longer sit here because if the ship's on fire, it won't reach Earth. There's 2 items in the room. So I think what that means to me is essentially the pilot will have to try and fix this. So she can no longer sit there. So she can repair stuff. And this is a repair room. So I think she is going to go here. And she's going to spend 2 cards so that there's no noise. She's going to, well, actually, she's going to spend this card. Move to any neighboring room without a noise roll. So she's going to do Reconnaissance, Recon, and then she's going to draw. She's going to spend another card to see if she can spend anything on repairs. We don't want fire. So she's got not very helpful card. She's got duct tape, discard malfunction, repair, break the engine room, use to add heavy item to your heavy items character. If you're in a room with a technical corridor entrance, move your character to any other technical corridor entrance. So I think she's going to keep one. The duct tape, not helpful. Helps her carry an extra card. But that's not good. So she's got her next turn because the captain's done. I think I'm breaking some rules here, but anyway, it's fine. I think she's going to look for another repair card. She's going to search. She's going to do a search action. I don't see a search card though. That's not good. So she's just going to move to a neighboring room without a noise roll because that's all she can do. So she's going to move here. No noise roll. She's got slimed. It's the armory. It's got 3 items. She's got slimed, so she's not looking in great shape. That's the problem as she ventures out. So I'm going to take a slime marker, put it on the slime. And she's still got 1 card. So that's the end of this turn. And all that happens is the marker moves to 1. And she could go to the hibernatorium next, provided there's not much more fire. I think she can do that. However, before that we've got to resolve an event card. Here you go. Place a fire marker in the hibernatorium. Oh gosh. If the hibernatorium is already on fire, place a fire marker in each neighboring room. Fire does not spread through closed doors. So this is not good because that was the pilot's hope. She wanted to hibernate, but this is on fire. She really has to do something with the fire marker. And her way to put out the fire, I don't know, she's got to explore some other things. And she's probably going to go here. He takes another wound, another light wound, because he's ended the turn on a room with fire. So he's got 2 light wounds now, the captain. No serious wounds yet, but still he's got wounded. And we've done our event card. Last thing we do is the intruder bag development. Let's see what we've got. We've got an adult, which basically means we do a noise roll. All characters. 3. Where's 3? I don't see a 3. There's 1, 2, 4. So nothing. Oh, okay. That's not usually how it happens. 2, 4. Okay. Not going to complain. And then the scout does. Well, when you're slimed, it means it's actually danger. So it's not very good. So I think the scouts. The tension's escalating, so there's noise everywhere. All 3 corridors are connected with noise, and the adult intruder token goes back in the bag after damaging us. And we start the next round. The first player character is back to the captain, I think. And the captain's actually going to try and see if he can do any repairs to put that noise out, put the fire out there, because he is the captain of the ship. He's going to take 2, 3, 5 cards. The scout's going to start with her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and we are set to go. So let's start with the captain. So the captain is going to spend a search card and hopefully he can put out a fire. I think that's what he wants to do. So let's take 2 item cards from the top. And what's he got? Discard malfunction repair engine, open close 1 door, 1 use chemicals, fully load ammo and a flamethrower. So he doesn't have a flamethrower yet. So he's going to keep this one. Not very helpful. And let's see what else he can do. Rest. No. So he can't search again. So he can't do basic repairs. He can scan contamination cards. He can order. I think he's just going to move because there's not much hope doing anything here. So he moves here. I think fire control system. Okay, this is good. It's malfunctioning. Item counter is 3. So he's in the fire control system, which is great. And he is going to spend 1 card to move there. That's his second turn done. I think the pilot also wants to go there. So the pilot's going to spend, or the scout's going to spend 2 cards to move quietly here, and then another 2 cards to move quietly here. And that's the scout's turn. And then what's the captain going to do? So the captain is going to search. He's got 2 cards. Fire control system. Actually, maybe you can put out the fire. So he is going to spend his last 2 cards on putting out the fire in the Hibernatorium. And the scout's going to do exactly the same. Well, we move to the scout because the captain's out of his cards. And going to put out the fire here. So there's no fire token here. And there's no fire here. So I think that was a good outcome. And that's the end of the round, unfortunately. Both of them are here. Oh, although it's malfunctioning. So they could not have done that. The captain had a basic repairs card. But that means he would have used that and one of the fires still is active. So this fire is still active. The malfunction token goes away. So that's what's happened here. And that's the end of the next round. So what happens here? Let's go back. Counter moves to 8. There's no intruders. We've got lucky. We've saved one of the fires. And what we have to do is an event card. This is what we've got on the event card. Move every adult intruder. There's no adult intruder. If there are several rooms to choose from. Okay, so we got lucky with the event card. Nothing happens here. We do the intruder bag development. Hopefully we get lucky there as well. We've got an adult, which means there's a noise roll. Let's do a noise roll. 2. 2 is here. Now that's the unlucky part. They're in the same room, so the noise roll could again be a 2. Danger. That's bad news. So I think what this means is this token goes away. and we pull an intruder from the bag. And we've got the worst. Is this going to be the end of the Nemesis? So we've got the queen with a value of 4. I was hoping the pilot would make it, but who knows? I don't think the pilot will make it. And I'm just going to try and put the camera angle so you can see that a bit better. So you've got the queen there, and you've got the poor pilot and the captain, and that's not looking very good. One thing I don't know is at the end of the turn, we've run out of cards now, so we have 0 cards. So I'm assuming when the intruder attack happens, we suffer. So we probably target any one of them. So character suffers 1 light wound and gets a contamination card. So not the worst. So I think I'm going to take 1 light wound for the scout and 1 contamination card. Yeah, that is it. And now we pick 5 cards for the scout and the captain and try and make it out of there. I think the captain will try and fight so that the scout can make it. That's how I'm going to do it, because the scout can hibernate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to start with the captain. The captain can move the intruder to a neighboring room. So I think he's going to move the intruder here. And to do that, he has to each intruder in combat performs 1 attack. So the intruder is going to attack the captain before he leaves. 1 light wound and 1 contamination card. All right, so the captain's got 2 light wounds. That becomes 1 serious wound, and he takes 1 contamination card. So not too bad. Hand. The cost of all your items actions is increased by 1. Okay, not great, but not bad. And what therefore, so that's the captain's first action. As captain's used the items card, and well, actually the captain could have done something better. He's got a suppressive fire thing, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So what, meanwhile, oh, the scout drawn a contamination card, so this is pretty useless. She's going to try and repair the fire. So she's going to spend 2 on the fire control system to repair this fire. That's the first action. Then she's going to try and run back to the hibernatorium. So she's going to go 1 action here. Firstly, she's going to roll for noise on corridor 4, which is fine. Corridor 4 is here, and her turn ends there. She's got 1 card left. Now what's the captain going to do? The captain is also going to run, but he's going to run quietly. I think the captain's going to try and go to the armory. No, he's going to try and come here as well. So he spends 2 cards. He comes here quietly, and he's going to spend his last 2 cards again to move very quietly. And the scout's going to spend her last cards to move without a noise roll. So she moves to the hibernatorium quietly. So that is it. So that's the next round of the Nemesis. And we do the usual. So we move our event marker to 7. The ship's close to destructing. So I think what we need to do is now the pilot needs to hibernate. The captain can try go somewhere there and look at the laboratory, which is where he needs to get to. So we're in good shape. I think we have to resolve an event card. Each intruder on the board heals 2 injuries, so that one had no injury. The intruder moves to via corridor 1, which is great. It moves farther away from us, I think. So it's moved here, which is great for us, farther away. Not for the captain, but for the scout. So the scout is going to try and hibernate now, because I think she's done her bit. She's sorted the fire and she wants to hibernate. So she's going to start by doing a noise roll. If she gets a 2, she survives, I think. Unfortunately, she hasn't. She's got an X. An X means all connected noise tokens get removed. And she draws an intruder from the bag, so she's going to have combat, but she's well set up for combat, I think. She's got an adult intruder with a value of 2. She's got 5 cards, and she tried to hibernate, for which she discarded 2, I think. So she's got 3 cards in her hand, and therefore the adult's value is 2, so there's no surprise attack. That's great. So the adult has creepily just landed up right on her face, looking at her. But she's got a lot of weapons, so she's going to use that. She has a one-time use grenade. She chooses one room with an intruder. The intruder suffers 2 injuries and everybody else gets 1. She has use on one intruder in the room you are in, it retreats. Fire extinguisher, use one intruder. So she's going to use this on the intruder, and she's going to discard 1 more card, which is a basic repairs card, because she doesn't need that. And this intruder retreats. So the intruder retreats. So it retreats through corridor number 2, which is here. So the intruder's gone here. It's facing off. And the scout still has 2 cards, so she can hibernate, hopefully. But before that, the captain's got to go somewhere. The captain's got to get the laboratory. I think the captain's going to try and get to the laboratory through here. So I think the captain's first, unless this is the laboratory, we don't know. That's the whole problem. But I think there's a greater chance there. So the captain's going to go here firstly. He's going to make a noise roll. Well, actually, he's going to go quietly. Why should we make a noise roll? He's going to take his 5 cards. Fortunately, he's not got a contamination card there. He's going to discard 2 cards, move quietly here. He's going to discard 2 cards again, move quietly there. So he's got 1 more card, he can try and move there. But before that, our scout's going to hibernate. I think that's the end of the scout in the game. The scout has to roll for a noise token, and if there's any adult intruder coming into the room, there's 1. It doesn't mean there's an intruder attack. We just place a noise token, and that's the end of the scout in the game. The scout's hibernated. So if the captain survives, then both can survive, but unless the ship's on fire, I think the scouts made it. And let's do the last turn of the captain. The captain's going to move, discard the last card, move here, comms, danger. So the item counter is 2. Yeah, that's it, right? So I think danger means there's noise everywhere in all associated rooms, and that was his last card anyway. So the captain's stuck there with his last card. And that's the end of the turn. So we're only playing the captain. The scout's in hibernatorium. Item counter moves by 1. So it's gone to our ships move to 6. It's got only 5 turns left over the game. We have an adult intruder here. We have a mother, and we've got to see what happens with the captain. Captain's already got 1 serious wound. So we resolve an event card. All intruders, which are mothers. It's not for an adult, so the mothers move via corridor 1. So that's the first thing. And that means the captain's in combat right there. And each character with a larva dies. Each character draws 4 cards from and scans contamination cards. And scans all their drawn contamination. If they have 1 infected, put a larva on the character, discard drawn cards. So I think we've got to check if the captain's got any contamination and scan those. So I drew 4 cards. One of them was a contamination card. And I think the captain's contaminated. He dies. Let's see. This is how I scanned the contamination card. Infected. The words infected show up here. It's not showing up, which to me shows that the captain's not contaminated. So he's got lucky. So nothing happens here. That's the end of the round. And we start. We just moved the counter now? No, I can't remember. But we moved the counter. Well, we did move the counter, didn't we? So now we start with the captain picking 5 cards, hoping to somehow get rid of the mother alien, which I don't think is going to be possible. So he's drawn 5 cards. And he's going to use his last 6 shooter weapon and roll. He's got 1 hit on the intruder. We draw an intruder attack card. 2. We've got 5, but also it means that the intruder's moved. So it moves here. Okay, so that's good for the captain. The captain's then going to try and somehow get to the laboratory. He's going to try and make a movement here. He's going to spend 1 card to do that. And he's going to do a noise roll. 3. So where is corridor 3? 3 is on the other side, so we'll put a noise marker down there. Let's turn the card open. Well, nothing too helpful here. It's malfunctioning. It's item counters 2. But that's not where the captain wanted to go. So the captain's going to try, see if that's the laboratory. Again, he's going to turn the card over. He spent another card to move there. He's got 3 cards. Malfunctioning. Surgery. I think that's what he... Did he want to go to the surgery? Yes, the captain did want to go to the surgery. He just got to now somehow remove the malfunction marker. He needs to perform a surgical procedure there. So he's reached the room. He's got alien facing up. He's just got to somehow go to the surgery and then hit the hibernatorium, and maybe he makes it. So all he had to do was to put this object in the surgery room and do a surgical experiment. He's discarded 2 cards to do that. So the captain's met his objective. Now the captain doesn't need to be on the ship. The captain could potentially just get into an escape pod and escape the ship completely, or go to the hibernatorium. He's got one last card. Demolition. Destroy a door. Place a malfunction marker. I think he's just going to move. He's going to try and somehow come here to the hibernatorium. So I think what he's first going to do is he's going to move here to the cockpit. No, if he moves the cockpit, this is blocked. So he's going to, he can't move here either. He is, I think he's going to be brave and take an injury, because then it's quicker to the hibernatorium the next time. So he's done that. And that's the end of his turn. Ship moves to 5. The markers move to 5 there. End of the turn. So he's ended with an intruder. So we've got to resolve an intruder attack. 2 light wounds and 1 more contamination cards. So he's got 1 serious wound, 2 more light wounds, and 1 more contamination card. He's just hoping to. So his second serious wound is they must drop a heavy item. He didn't really do his first serious wound effect, which is sad. I think he would have died. But it's okay, as long as we're having fun. So I think his item cost had increased by 1. I think that was the main thing. So he's got injuries. He's literally on his last legs. If he gets 1 more serious wound card, he dies, but he's okay. Plays a noise marker in all technical corridors if there isn't one. If there is a character in a room with a technical play, performs a noise roll. So is he in a technical corridor? No. The technical corridor already has a noise token, so nothing happens. The next round. Oh. All the intruders not in combat move to corridor 4. Corridor 4. Yeah. So hopefully the captain gets into the hibernatorium now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he'll spend He'll spend 2 cards, I think, because he wants to move quietly. And then he spend another 2 cards to get into the hibernatorium. But he's got to perform a noise roll. Let's see if he performs a noise roll. That's not good. So he had almost made it, but the noise roll means he's made more noise here. Which means he pulls an intruder from the bag. So he's in bad shape. So I think it means the intruder from the neighboring room comes here, and he also pulls one from the bag. So he's got 2 intruders and he can't hibernate. He's got another adult that he's pulled with a value of 4. And that basically means he's got 1 card, so the surprise attack. He's got 2 intruder attack cards that he resolves. Bite. If the character has 2 serious wounds, they die. So that's the end. At least 1 serious wound, they die. So both would have meant that the captain dies. So he fought valiantly. He went to the surgery. He deposited the corpse there in the surgery. He really battled. He tried to find the best way out of the game. He reached the hibernatorium, but just at the right at the end, he got swarmed by intruders and he had two serious wounds. So he fell down and died. So, but as the captain of the ship should do, he made sure the scout got out alive. And one character won, the second lost. But this is our first win aboard the Nemesis. So thanks for being on the journey. I hope you enjoyed that. Apologies for any rules mistakes, but I had fun. Thank you. Cheers.